Hello, everyone. Welcome to Speak Up. I'm Ryan, and today our focus is on speaking without pausing, a skill that helps you create a continuous flow in your speech. When you eliminate those unnecessary stops, your ideas come out more clearly and naturally. I've discovered some effective English speaking tips that really work, like practicing with a timer or recording your sessions to identify where you tend to hesitate. This practice has made a huge difference in my ability to improve English fluency. When you speak without pausing, you not only convey your thoughts more efficiently, but you also feel more confident expressing yourself in any situation.
Hi everyone, I'm Priya. Imagine being able to share your thoughts seamlessly without the interruptions of awkward pauses. That's what we're aiming for. I learned that speaking continuously is all about training your brain to let ideas flow naturally instead of getting caught up in every little hesitation. Through regular practice, I've managed to reduce my pauses and speak more fluidly, which has really helped me speak English confidently. Techniques like mindful breathing and practicing with engaging topics have been key. These methods not only improve English fluency, but also build the assurance you need for effective daily conversations.
Let's dive a bit deeper. The main goal is to transform your natural pauses into a smooth, rhythmic flow of words. I used to struggle with stopping mid-sentence until I started using simple exercises like speaking along with audio clips and timing my responses. This method not only sharpens your concentration, but also reinforces your ability to keep talking without thinking too much about every word. Over time, these techniques have helped me refine my speech patterns and truly speak English confidently. Embracing these English-speaking tips means you're actively working to improve English fluency, making your communication clearer and more engaging.
To add to that, consider speaking without pausing as a journey toward turning your inner thoughts into a natural conversation. It's about letting go of the urge to overthink each pause and trusting your ability to express ideas fluidly. I found that when I consciously practiced without stopping, my overall language rhythm improved significantly. This change not only enhanced my fluency, but also boosted my self-confidence in various interactions. With consistent practice, you'll notice that the strategies we discuss help you speak English confidently, whether in a casual chat or a more formal setting. Embrace these techniques, and soon you'll enjoy a smoother, more engaging way of speaking.
Let's talk about why we often pause when speaking. One major reason is overthinking. When we worry about getting every word perfect, our mind slows down and our speech becomes choppy. Another factor is that many of us tend to translate our thoughts from our native language into English. This mental conversion creates extra pauses that interrupt the natural flow of conversation. And then there's the fear of making mistakes. Specifically, we get stuck trying to avoid common English mistakes, which only heightens our self-consciousness. When you focus on overcoming the fear of speaking English, you start to see that these pauses are simply hurdles that can be overcome with practice and awareness.
I've noticed that when we translate in our head, it disrupts our ability to respond quickly and naturally in conversation. Instead of letting our ideas flow, we get caught up in converting each thought into English, which creates unnecessary delays. Overthinking each sentence and worrying about making common English mistakes makes our speech sound hesitant and stilted. It's like we're battling an internal critic that holds us back from expressing ourselves freely. Recognizing these habits is key to figuring out how to stop translating in your head. When we understand these underlying issues, we can start to address them and build a more natural rhythm in our everyday conversations.
Another aspect to consider is how the fear of making errors, especially common English mistakes, can lead to constant self-monitoring. This intense focus on perfection can cause us to pause frequently as we try to decide if each word is exactly right before speaking. This habit not only disrupts the flow of our speech, but also undermines our confidence. Instead of letting our natural speaking rhythm take over, we get caught up in analyzing every sentence. Learning to relax and trust your instincts is essential if you want to overcome the fear of speaking English. The more you practice speaking without overthinking, the more fluid and confident you'll become in your daily conversations.
It's clear that these challenges, overthinking, constant translation, and the fear of making mistakes, can really disrupt our daily English conversation. By acknowledging these issues, we can start working on strategies to address them. For example, focusing on how to stop translating in your head allows us to think directly in English, which speeds up our response time and makes our speech more natural. At the same time, understanding that making mistakes is a normal part of learning can help reduce the anxiety that leads to unnecessary pauses. With consistent practice and by applying these insights, you can gradually build the confidence to speak English fluidly and without hesitation.
Now let's talk about establishing a strong linguistic foundation. When we talk about establishing a strong linguistic foundation, it's all about mastering the basics, so your speech flows smoothly. I've found that when you build your skills from the ground up, everything else falls into place. For example, using an English vocabulary builder helps you expand your word bank gradually, and methods that make English grammar made easy simplify those tricky grammar rules. These tools are perfect for anyone just starting out, especially if you're in the English for beginners stage. Plus, incorporating regular English listening practice into your routine lets you absorb natural speech patterns, which in turn boosts your fluency. Focusing on these fundamentals sets you up for a lifetime of clear, confident communication.
I totally agree, Ryan. It's like laying the first bricks in a strong foundation. Consistent practice is key. I make it a point to combine daily vocabulary exercises with listening sessions, which really helps me grasp the natural rhythm of the language. By practicing with tools that offer an English vocabulary builder and lessons designed to make English grammar made easy, I can see noticeable improvements in my speech. Whether you're just starting as part of English for beginners or refining your skills, regular English listening practice is invaluable. This steady, focused approach not only reinforces your basic knowledge, but also paves the way for smoother, more fluent conversation over time.
Another thing that's helped me is mixing structured practice with real-life application. I set aside dedicated time each day to review basic vocabulary and grammar, and then I put those skills into practice by listening to native speakers. This blend of study and application makes the learning process dynamic. Tools like an English vocabulary builder and interactive lessons that make English grammar made easy are essential because they break down complex concepts into manageable steps. And by integrating consistent English listening practice, you start hearing and mimicking the natural flow of conversation. This combination not only strengthens your foundation, but also builds the confidence you need to speak smoothly and clearly.
Exactly, Ryan. I've noticed that when I maintain a balanced routine, mixing focused study with active listening, my overall communication improves significantly. I spend time with grammar exercises and vocabulary drills, then switch to listening to podcasts and real-life conversations, which helps cement what I've learned. This approach, especially for English for beginners, creates a seamless learning experience that reinforces every aspect of the language. Regular English listening practice not only exposes you to various accents and speech patterns, but also helps you internalize them. With time and consistent effort, these foundational practices transform your speaking style, making your conversation smoother and more natural every day.
Now let's talk about implementing continuous speech techniques. One of the most effective methods is the shadowing technique for fluency. This technique involves listening to a short audio clip, like a sentence or a brief dialogue, from a native speaker, and then immediately repeating it to mimic the natural flow. It's a powerful exercise that helps you learn English fast by training your brain to respond quickly. When you practice shadowing, you're not just repeating words, you're tuning into rhythm, intonation, and pace. This method is essential for those who want to know how to speak English without hesitation. By incorporating this technique into your daily routine, you gradually develop a smoother, more confident way of speaking.
I really enjoy using the shadowing technique because it bridges the gap between listening and speaking. I start by selecting an audio clip that matches my current level, and then listen several times until I'm comfortable with the content. Once I feel ready, I try to repeat the clip word for word, focusing on the natural cadence and flow. This exercise helps me overcome the pauses that usually occur when I overthink my words. It's all about immersing yourself fully in the language. Each session builds up my ability to speak more continuously and confidently showing me that I can truly learn English fast with consistent practice.
Let's break down the shadowing process into clear steps. First, choose a short and engaging audio clip. Listen to it multiple times until you become familiar with the content. Next, begin to speak along with the audio, matching the speaker's rhythm and intonation as closely as possible. If you find yourself hesitating, pause briefly, then try again until you can keep up without breaks. Gradually, challenge yourself to repeat the clip without any pauses at all. This step-by-step progression trains your mind to produce a continuous flow of words, making it easier to speak English without hesitation over time. With regular practice, this method will significantly improve your overall fluency.
In addition to breaking down the process, reflecting on your progress is key. After each shadowing session, take a moment to note where you paused or felt uncertain. This self-review allows you to pinpoint specific areas that need extra practice. Then repeat the exercise, focusing on those tricky spots until your delivery becomes seamless. This consistent, focused practice not only helps you learn English fast, but also builds your confidence in real conversations. Each step you master brings you closer to speaking naturally without the interruptions that slow you down. Embrace these techniques, and soon you'll find that speaking fluidly becomes second nature.
Now let's talk about utilizing digital tools and resources to boost your fluency. I rely on the best apps to learn English, which offer interactive lessons and real-time feedback that really enhance my speaking skills. These apps, along with various free English learning resources available online, have become a crucial part of my study routine. They allow me to engage in daily English conversation practice in a structured way, ensuring I maintain consistency. With these tools, you can listen to native speakers, repeat phrases, and even record your own speech to monitor progress, all of which contribute to building a seamless flow in your conversations.
I completely agree, Ryan. I've found that solo practice, like dedicated English conversation practice alone sessions, is incredibly effective in developing uninterrupted speech habits. By setting aside specific times each day for this practice, I've managed to turn my learning into a daily routine that mirrors real-life English conversations. This focused practice helps me experiment with different expressions and intonations without the pressure of an audience. Over time, these sessions have not only increased my vocabulary and confidence, but also made speaking more natural and spontaneous. It's amazing how integrating these digital resources into your study plan can make such a significant difference.
Let's dive a bit deeper into how these digital tools fit into your everyday practice. When you use an app designed for language learning, it often includes exercises that simulate real conversation scenarios. This means you're not just practicing in isolation, but engaging in mock dialogues that reflect daily English conversation. I often use these sessions to record myself, review my performance, and identify areas for improvement. This method is especially useful for catching subtle pronunciation issues and reinforcing the natural rhythm of speech. The combination of digital tools and solo practice allows you to track progress and adjust your learning strategies in real time, ensuring a steady improvement in fluency.
And it's important to remember that these tools aren't just for beginners, they're valuable for learners at all levels. By consistently using the best apps to learn English alongside free English learning resources, you create a comprehensive learning environment. I set up a routine where I engage in both solo practice and participate in virtual conversation groups, which replicate real-life English conversations. This dual approach not only reinforces what you learn, but also builds your confidence to speak spontaneously. The key is to integrate these resources naturally into your day-to-day life so that speaking English becomes as effortless as breathing. With dedication and the right tools, you'll see a marked improvement in your fluency over time.
Now let's talk about enhancing pronunciation and speech rhythm. One key technique is focusing on clear articulation, which means practicing how you form each sound with precision. For example, I often use mirror exercises to observe my mouth movements as I repeat tongue twisters. This not only helps with clarity, but also builds natural intonation, so your speech sounds fluid and engaging. Incorporating practical exercises like these Using dedicated English pronunciation tips can dramatically improve your accent. I also practice specific drills aimed at English accent training, ensuring I'm consistent in my sound production. All these steps are designed to help you sound like a native speaker, giving you the confidence to express yourself with clarity and ease.
Now, let's explore more techniques to refine our pronunciation and speech rhythm. I start by breaking down difficult words into syllables and then repeating them slowly to master the sounds. This method of over-enunciating helps me internalize the proper rhythm of the language. Additionally, I regularly record myself to compare my pronunciation with that of native speakers, which is a practical exercise in English pronunciation tips. I also follow guided sessions focused on English accent training that emphasize the nuances of intonation and stress. Over time, these consistent practices have helped me reduce my accent and sound like a native speaker, boosting my confidence during everyday conversations.
Let's dive a bit deeper into some specific exercises that you can try right away. One exercise I recommend is reading aloud from a script while emphasizing natural intonation. Focus on the rise and fall of your voice and pay close attention to punctuation marks as cues for your tone. Another great exercise is mimicking short video clips of native speakers. This shadowing technique really reinforces how to speak in a natural, rhythmic way. I also suggest recording your practice sessions and listening back to spot areas for improvement. By consistently applying these exercises, you not only refine your clear articulation, but also master the overall speech rhythm necessary to sound like a native speaker.
To add to that, a practical routine that has worked for me involves combining daily practice with targeted exercises. I start each session with vocal warm-ups to loosen up and then move on to practicing specific sounds that I find challenging. I use online resources that provide detailed English pronunciation tips, guiding me through exercises that focus on reducing my accent. Another effective strategy is to work with interactive software that offers immediate feedback on your pronunciation, which is a great tool for English accent training. With time, these routines help make your speech smoother and more natural, ensuring you not only speak clearly but truly sound like a native speaker in your daily conversations.
Now let's dive into some advanced strategies for maintaining fluid speech. One powerful approach is incorporating English idioms and phrases into your practice. When you sprinkle in idiomatic expressions, your conversation gains a natural rhythm that mirrors how native speakers talk. I also love using English storytelling techniques. They help you structure your ideas in a compelling way while keeping your speech engaging. By learning to use these tools, you not only improve English fluency, but also learn English with stories that make your conversations more lively and memorable. These techniques encourage a smooth, uninterrupted flow that makes your speech sound more natural and confident.
I find that interactive practice methods really take your speaking skills to the next level. One effective method is simulating spontaneous conversation. Try role-playing scenarios, or even having a conversation with yourself on different topics. This helps you adapt quickly to new ideas without the usual hesitation. It's about creating a dynamic practice environment where you can experiment with new expressions and adjust your rhythm on the fly. As you integrate these practices, you'll notice that your ability to respond naturally improves and your overall fluency gets a boost. Remember, the goal is to feel as comfortable as if you were chatting with a friend, which is a key step to truly improving English fluency.
As we wrap up today's episode, I want to thank you all for joining us and exploring these techniques with us. We've covered how to eliminate pauses, build a strong linguistic foundation, and even some advanced strategies like using idioms and storytelling to add a natural rhythm to your speech. Each step is designed to help you speak more continuously and confidently. I encourage you to try these techniques in your daily practice and see how they transform your communication skills. Remember, the journey to fluency is about consistent practice and embracing every opportunity to speak.
Thank you for tuning in to Speak Up today. I hope you found these strategies helpful and that you're excited to put them into practice. Whether it's through daily conversation, interactive exercises, or creative storytelling, every bit of practice brings you closer to speaking English confidently. Keep challenging yourself to overcome hesitation and let your natural voice shine. We appreciate your commitment to improving your language skills and invite you to join us next time for more tips and insights. Until then, keep practicing and remember, every conversation is a step forward in your journey to fluency.